Hey guys, it's Maymay, and so many of you guys have been asking if I'm going to be doing an As Many As series with this card pack, the no pun intended pack by Photoplay. And yes, today we started. Today we're going to make 16 cards. You ready? Let's go. So what I always do first when I'm doing an As Many As is dissect or break apart the paper pack. And so what we're going to do to start with for making 16 cards is I'm going to focus on these 8 pieces right here. Notice we get 2 sheets of them. That's the first thing I'm going to do. The best way to make the most of our paper pack is to break it down and, bite off 1 piece at a time. That's how you get it done. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take these pages and I've got them stacked on top of each other. And I'm going to break apart or cut apart the cut apart sheet. So there's one little strip. And here's another. Now the thing I have decided about these guys, what I want to do, is I want to make a card that allows these to be the focal point. These guys will come later. We're not going to do those in this video. I want to make these guys be the focal point and really show them off. So I'm going to show you what I have plans for that after I get these guys all cut apart. So for my card bases today, I'm doing something very different, and I'll show you what it is. I'm taking some 12 by 12 cardstock and cutting it down to make card bases, and here's how that works. I'm going to make a 5.5 inch piece there, and I'm doing 2 at a time to make things go faster. Do 5.5 here, and on the ends of these guys, you'll see I'll have this strip left. This is great. I can use that. I'm not sad about strips like that. They're great for sentiments. But down here, I'm going to cut this into 8.5 inch, and it's going to leave me with these pieces. Well, I want to mat all of these guys, right? So this is going to be actually a little too big for matting, but look how much I can use of it, and I won't be wasting it. And I'll have a bunch of these that I can use for that. So that was my plan there. I was like, you know what, if I do this with 12 by 12, I'll have some pieces that I can lean to, and I know that my whites will all match and everything will match up. So that's what I'm doing. 16 card bases made from 12 by 12. So since I have all these cut, and while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and cut them for these guys. So these should be 3 by 4s. Let me double check. I'm always a double checker. 3 by 4. So I want to cut these down 3.25 by 4.25. So I have that little matte edge. So I'm just going to stack up 3 because that's what my trimmer will do comfortably. And I'm going to run through those really quick and get 16 of them cut down. And so see, that will really give me a head start. So I'll show you what I mean. So we have it this size. We stack this guy on top, and you see our little mat there. Isn't that perfect? Super cute. All right, so I'm going to run through and do that. Now the next thing I'm going to do before I mount these guys together is I'm going to run through and I'm going to angle or angle punch is what I'm trying to say. I was going to say corner round, but not corner round. I'm going to angle punch these edges. So I'm going to put this in. Oh, that's the small side. I like the large side. So I'm going to use my angle punch, and see that? I'm getting that little angle. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to run through and do my angle punching. And the reason you want to do this before you mount them, it really depends. If you would like this look, which is cool too, if you want that look where it just kind of mounts like that, that's super cool. But for me, I want these to match my little sheet. So I want to do all of my punching now before I put anything together. Otherwise, my angle punches won't match up. And I'll show you what I mean. So see how now that matches, and it looks like we used a die or something to make that happen. And that's what I want. So I'm going to run through and do all of these. What I'm doing here is I've laid all of my little cut aparts face down, and I've cut some Scotty enough for me to be able to run through and put a piece at the top and a piece at the bottom of each of these guys. And that is how I'm going to mount them to the little white pieces we already did. So this is my last set. I did them in 2 batches. So I have 1 batch up here already with their Scotty on the back, and this is my second batch. So now we can put them on their little white pieces. Well, almost. We got one more thing to do. Because some of these pieces are white background and I'm mounting them on white paper, I'm going to run through and distress the edges, but not a lot, just enough to show the difference between the white and the white, the matte that I'm putting it on. And this is a great way to make your cards have a little dimension. If you ever notice that you do something like I did where you cut white as the matte and then you're like, oh, but these are white, just run around and do this. And like I said, I'm not doing this very wide. I'm keeping it very thin and very, very specifically on the edge. And that will give me the look I need when I mount them. See how that'll give me that separation between the two? That's what I'm going to do. So all of my focal points are now done and mounted and ready to go on the card. Let's do the card bases. So before we score all of the mats, I want to show you what I'm going for. So I want this card to look like this so that when the recipient gets it, these sides open. You've seen these before. It's like a fancy fold card. The sides open and it will stand like this. So that's how we're going to be scoring it today. Okay. So this guy, that's why I wanted these to kind of be like the focal point. So this is what we're going to be scoring. And let me give you the scores. So we're going to take one of our card bases that we created. All right. And we're going to score them at 2 inches, 3 1/8, 5 3/8, 6 1/2. And that's all you need to do for all of your card bases. All right, so let's do one more and then I'll finish the rest. So 2 inches, 3 1/8, 5 3/8, 6 1/2. So do that 14 more times. Now we got to talk about the paper pad a little bit. Okay, so these are all of my card bases. Let me use the one that's folded so you can tell what I'm talking about here. So we're going to be putting pattern paper here, here, and here. All right, this strip is going to need to be 1 3/4 by 5 1/2. I'm sorry, by 5 1/4. Let me say it again, 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this one is going to be 2 by 5 1/4 because the middle is 2 1/4. All right, so this one's a little bit different. Now here's what you're going to want to do. So I'm going to come through here and find, like, here's one. Let's do the llama because I'm on the llama paper. So I want this llama paper to be the strips on either side here, okay, on the outside. But then what I'm going to do is whatever the back is what I'm going to put in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to let the paper kind of dictate where it goes. So I need that twice because I have 2 llamas, right? So I'm just going to put those aside because that's what I'll be using for that. And then I'll look at the unicorn. Now, the interesting thing is there's not a sheet in here for this particular image. So let me show you what I found that will work. I'm going to use the one that has the cans on it. I think these are cute. So you can see here, these cans are kind of a mixture of everything. And I think that'll work as my outside strips. For my center strip, I'm going to go back to that same piece that I had in the beginning and use that color. I think it'll be fine. So that's how I'm going to do. I'm just going to run through and pick what I want, and you can do the same. Pick your strips for the side and the one for the middle, and then we'll get right back together. I'm breaking in to tell you that this is a 5 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch square. It's 5 1/4 tall, 5 1/2 inch wide. Cut 1 3/4 off. You're going to cut 2 inches off. And if I did my math right, you're going to be left with 1 3/4. And we are. Yay. I'm surprised because I never do my math right. All right, so 1 3/4, 2 inches, and it leaves you with 1 3/4. And let me show you why this matters. Here's our card base. Okay, so we're going to take this guy, and remember, 1 mat's here, and then 1 mat's here, and then our center cut, which is that 2 inch piece, mat's here. Isn't that cool how that works out? And then, of course, not you, but where's our little llama girl? This guy goes like that, and that will be our card when it's all said and done. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to run through and get them all prepped and ready to go. So for these guys, these are the chair ones, which I think are so super cute. Aren't they adorable? Here's what I did. I did polka dots for the sides, and those get mounted like so. And then I did the pink for the middle, but you could totally flip it over and use the ice cream if you wanted to, because, you know, not a whole lot of that is going to show. And I can sit in a chair and eat ice cream and cake, can't you? And so see how that'll go like that? But that's up to you. I'm going to use the pink side because I think it'll be cute. So let's go ahead and mount these together. So you're going to be able to do two cards using those chairs. So I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. And you're going to assemble these all the same way. So you'll mount to this side first, or it doesn't matter, either side. Get that mounted. I'll turn it around. Mount this side. Now you'll do this on your flat card bases. You can score them after the fact because I think that'll be easier. I just wanted to do it on this folded one so you could see where everything goes. I'm not putting anything in the middle. You could. I just feel like it'll be kind of wasted. It's not really a focal point, so I'm not going to put anything there. Now, if you've got a pattern, pay attention. Those didn't have pattern. They do, but they didn't have an orientation that mattered. This one does, and y'all know that's my Achilles heel, right? I can never remember to pay attention to pattern. All right, so there's that guy. And now this little guy will glue right to the front. Matter of fact, let's put a little glue like this. I'm going to go right down the middle so I don't glue my card shut. And I can lay this flat and just line him up in the middle. Like so. And that will close down and fit in an envelope. Now the thing is, this ends up being 4 inches, but that's fine. It fits in an envelope. That's all we really care about. And when the recipient gets it, it will stand. Isn't that cute? So it's a standing card without having to do easel cards. And I love how it makes that picture so like a focal point, and you can write anywhere on the back. You can continue decorating the back if you'd like. I'm gonna leave mine super simple. Y'all know I tend to do that. So there's one. I'm gonna go through and assemble 16. So there you go. That's 16 cards, but I wanted to show you something cool I noticed. So let's run through each card. This is the chair, which you saw first. This is aloe you very much. We'll try that a couple times so we get it right. This one is You'll Want a Piece of Me. Aren't they cute as they can be? This one is You Amaze Me. How about If You Were a Fruit, You'd Be a Pineapple? Notice I used the pizza paper. I did that on purpose. Shannon said I'd use that pizza paper because I would totally put pineapple on my pizza. So that's why we got that one there. This one may be my favorite. Can we talk about how cute you are? How cute is that? And then this one says, Llama said there'd be days like this. I love that card. And the last design is Unicorn. Isn't that cute? Now here's the thing. Here's what I love. These are the same cards I just showed you, but not folded. So if you struggle with storage of your cards, wouldn't this be a great thing to do? Make these, leave them flat, store them flat, and then when it's time for you to send one, fold it. And that is an awesome way to save space. Also, these can be flattened out and put back into your stash, but I wanted to show them to you folded. So there you go. 16 cards using very little of our paper pack. I'm just going to stack these guys up like this so I can have those. And we're not done. We still have more cards we can make from that pack, but these turned out super cute and they were very, very easy to do. I hope you enjoyed this set so far. I think it's really cute. You guys remember, when you make these projects, if you are inspired by something that I do, please go over and share it on our customer gallery. I want to try to show you how little space 16 cards could take up in your craft room. Look at that. If you didn't fold those, that's pretty cool, right? All right, so share your projects on our customer gallery at maymaymadeit.com. Thanks so much for watching today, and until next time, bye-bye.